Robert Sarver in the National Basketball Association. We covered him in our last episode. We talked about race, sexual harassment, kind of what all happened in Phoenix and, his doing and all that. And what the NBA's response was, they gave him a year, they gave him a $10 million fine. And, LeBron, Chris Paul, others spoke out about that. And, man, no kidding. Today, sitting at work, seeing an alert pop up on my phone that he's looking to sell both the Phoenix Suns and the Phoenix Mercury of the WNBA. I mean, couldn't be happier. I mean, not surprised, but just like relieved a little bit. Like, thank you. Wayne, what'd you make of all this?
Yeah, no, I think I read his apology, and it was like I kind of like agreed. I think with was it Richard Jefferson? I think he said something along the so like Richard Jefferson, like he's definitely like an Arizona boy and everything. Like I think that's where he's from. Went to college there. Knows the owner and everything, but then also has heard from a lot of people within the Suns Mercury organization about all these things after the fact, after these reports kind of came out. So he's like, this guy needs to go. So he's definitely excited about all that. But then, yeah, to this whole apology thing, it was kind of like, it was kind of like I don't know, kind of like a anti-cancel culture thing, which I'm like, is this the route you want to go with? Like you definitely did some crappy stuff. And it's like, as an owner, I think that's one thing that, is the biggest difference here. You're the owner of the franchise. So we talk about organizational power dynamics and things of that nature, right? It's like, if you were, I don't know, some sort of janitor, some sort of, low-level employee, an intern or whatever, and you said all these things, like, do the Suns have to like issue a statement? No, they're just gonna be like, this guy's just, a douchebag, whatever. But if you're the owner and you're doing all these things, saying the N-word or whatever, like, there can be this whole debate, I guess, like, is it okay if you're referencing past whatever? Just as an owner, don't say it. Just don't say it. So, like, you just don't say it. And then also, talking about this whole things like the sexual harassment, like with pregnant women too, and all, like, you're the owner. Like, that is a responsibility. That's kind of what you sign on the dotted line for, if you will, with regards to, being able, it is a privilege. Like, and, these things can be taken away because of the way you act and behave. So, that's the biggest, I think that's my biggest takeaway with regards to that. Like, hey, we can say whatever we want about cancel culture. Great, whatever. But if you're the owner of a franchise and you're talking about these things and then, kind of promoting a sexual harassment type of environment, that's just not acceptable for really any organization. So that's strongly where it is, if you're an owner, you can't really like fire the CEO in a way, because you kind of are the CEO, right? So it's like, this is, the next best thing that you can do. And, with regards to how the NBA is structured, it's definitely, the kind of all the owners have a say with regards to who is an owner. So it's kind of like, Survivor, if you will, with regards to that. If somebody is a detriment to the rest of the league, such as also what we saw with Sterling, it's like, you're saying a lot of crappy things about, African Americans, and guess what? The NBA is like, what, 70-80% black. So that's not a good thing. So he had to go. And yeah, it's with power dynamics and power structure. And hey, we can say what we want about cancel culture and all that. Fair enough. But if you're the owner of a predominantly African American league and you're saying all these things, and then you're also talking about misogyny and all that, that's crossing the line there. So yeah, those are my thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, Robert Sarver, grab your torch. You're off the island. The tribe has spoken at this point, buddy. Like, this dude deserves to be canceled. I mean, I'm not a guy who like sits back and like, oh, I'm going to cancel this guy because he said, this or that, or was like offensive that one time, or or whatever else. Like, I think people deserve second chances, but when you establish a culture like that, just awful, because you got to think of the people that have to be obedient in those situations and kind of follow the lead nobody wants to hurt their own career. Nobody wants to have that all go sideways and be a martyr in those situations. Like, it's really hard for people to stand up and have courage against, the guy who's signing their checks or whatever. So just to get him out of there and just like, if this guy's already prone to this stuff, I don't want to hear an apology. Like, just leave, because, it's already like damage done. And anybody who's thinking about playing for you is going to have, second thoughts about, what that may represent, or, what that may say to people of their own culture, their own kind and stuff. So yeah, this guy just deserves to, be ejected from his seat, and, no parachute, just let him fly away.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, sorry, I was gonna say, like, I have no secret whatsoever. But, I have to sell a team. Oh my god, I think he bought it like maybe I forget when he bought it, but I think he bought it for like $400 million or something like that. And then now he's probably they were last valued at like 2 some odd billion. He's fine. Like, I don't care.
Like, oh man, I just bought this beach house, 2015, and now we're in the pandemic, and it's gonna hurricane. But shit, I guess I multiplied my home value by 10 times. So I guess I'll get out of here before the hurricane hits. But yeah, man, no, I'm with you. Awesome that this actually all worked out, though. Like, I'm glad that what LeBron said, Chris Paul said, actually mattered. It led to change. It makes the whole Phoenix situation so much more interesting with whoever they may end up selling it to, a destination that people could be happy about. Because even before all this crap hit the fan, people are always talking down about Phoenix as, how as an organization and how they're run, how they're owned. This guy's a cheapskate, I've heard. It's like, just get him out of there, man. Like, just drain that swamp and, start anew. But just the message it sends too is so nice, because it creates a threshold of like tolerance. It's like, okay, we now know if you say 5 N-words, you're out. If you do what Donald Sterling did, you're out. If you do what Don Imus did, you're off the air. It's like, keep this stuff going, because seriously, man, we're fighting so many forces right now in this world, like with, just hate and people coming from the other side of things, that, that's gaining momentum in the same sense and on a different wavelength. But it's like, man, just to have, some of our, modes of entertainment, things we enjoy, kind of be cleaned up, like, very important to me. So
yeah, for sure, man. Yeah. Oh,
yeah. Screw you, Robert Sarver. Yeah, I hope you listen to the Ball and Breakfast podcast, you idiot. Like, just get this guy out of here, man.
I'm just picturing him crying right now. It is funny.
He's listening on Anchor right now, somewhere at like a anger management meeting or something. He's pissed off. All right.
Yeah. Take that.
We're not talking about you anymore. You're off the list of topics for good. You're done. All right.
Yeah. Oh,
shifting over to something that